When Jim Treliving told his father that he planned on switching careers, going from an RCMP officer to a restaurateur, his old man told him flat out, you're crazy. And Jim's dad may have had a point, but any entrepreneur worth his salt knows that a little daring goes a long way. Just ask this guy.
Get your opportunities, take them, take a ride and see what happens.
Jim grew up in the financial hotbed of Virden, Manitoba. His family taught him strong values, hard work, be respectful, and never spend beyond your means. Credit cards, impulse shopping didn't exist in the Treliving household. Makes you wonder about Jim's philosophy then when it comes to debt. After he packed in as a Mountie, he opened a Boston pizza franchise in Penticton, BC.
A lot of people thought I'd never make it in this business.
One store turned into two. Two turned into four, and he started making some serious dough. Bad pun, but totally worth it. Now, in the early 80s, Jim and his business partner bought the company, and these days, Boston Pizza has more than 300 locations.
I feel that I don't even have the right to speak before Jim because he is the pizza king.
So, how do you balance ambition with principles? Can you be an ethical millionaire?
The legacy I'd like to leave back is that persistence works. Hard work works.
Lately, Jim has been working on The Big Decision, which aired its finale last night. He and fellow Dragon Arlene Dickinson looked at struggling businesses and decided whether to invest or not.
But I want to go and say, boy, I had a chance to work with these people, and they turned this company around with a few things I contributed to.
Plus, there's the Dragon's Den season finale tomorrow night. It's a chance to look back on 6 highly successful seasons.
I'll go to 40 at this point, but I want 50% of the say.
That is a fair deal.
You're a good partner, Jim.
Please welcome to the show, Jim Treliving.
Good to see you.
How are you? Welcome. How's things?
Things are great.
Excellent. You woke up in Niagara Falls early this morning and made your way out here.
5:30 this morning.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
Is the day punchy? You feel punchy right now?
No.
Just give me 8 good minutes, dude. I don't
8
care
good
what happens
minutes.
after that.
You got it. You got it.
It's an interesting dynamic in there, right? Because you are often talked about as the nice dragon, and you do bring kind of that calm hand to the proceedings. And there's always been this misconception that you can't be a really successful entrepreneur and be nice or have compassion.
I think, George, you have to be tough. Compassion is a thing that I grew up with. My parents taught me that. They were taught, same as you were taught. I mean, we had to show compassion. I had 2 sisters. So how do I treat my sisters? You know, that type of thing. And that grew through the whole business. Now, when in the police force, there's a whole different world.
Yeah, if you don't know, he was a Mountie. We got a picture of this.
That's a scary
I love
one.
this picture of you. Jim in the traditional red uniform too, right?
Oh boy.
There it is. And there you are with your pops, right?
That was my dad cutting my hair, and he had a barbershop in Virden, Manitoba, and that was one of the shots when I was a little wee guy.
That's a really intimate moment, a chance for you to have a conversation with your father. Did he talk to you about life through those moments?
You know, he was funny. He used to always cut my hair on Sunday because the customers came first.
Right.
And so I had to go up to the shop on Sundays and get my hair cut after church.
What kind of cop were you?
What kind of cop was I? I trained people after I finished training. So I really didn't go to the field till almost 9 months, but I trained a lot of guys coming up behind me. I was tough. Yeah. It was a lot of fun, but it was a lot. We worked hard and played hard, but I think the Mile Police at that time was quite a bit different than it is today. We had what we call an esprit de corps, and we all stuck together. And it was more of it's changed drastically. And I think with the new commissioner coming in now, I get all my emails at 2 in the morning from all my old buds that are retired or should be retired or whatever, or just tired.
Just tired, yeah.
And I said to them, you know, they send me stuff, and what's wrong? And we've always done that. You know, when I first joined, I remember somebody coming up to me and saying, you know, Jim, it was, you know, in my day was like this. Well, it's not your day anymore. Right. And it's not their day, and it's not my day anymore. And I think the new commissioner coming in, you'll see some drastic changes back to what we knew as a...
Is the same true for business? It's
Yep.
A lot of cats who have an incredible amount of wealth earned it in a different day, and it's just not that day anymore.
No, and you have to be moving quickly, fast every day. I mean, it's not just a day of you can have the same. I remember when I first started, I started with a Greek organization, and they were a great
like the mob
bunch.
when you say a Greek organization. And then you looked at me as if I knew. Maybe I do, I don't know.
Well, they're not like the mob, but they're close, right? No, they're a good bunch of people. Yeah. Gus and he taught me everything I was to know about getting into business. And when I first went in there, it was a lot of hard work, and these guys knew how to work. And what they taught me was, you got to stick with it. And because the first couple of years, I was broke and didn't know it. Absolutely didn't have any money left. And
Running your own business.
and running my own business, first store. And I had the ingenuity, I think, that I couldn't go back. The ingenuity was I was going to go ahead no matter what. And I just stuck it out. I got a $5,000 came in one afternoon from a very good friend of mine, and he wanted to switch pop machines around from a Coke to Pepsi, and he paid me ahead of time. So that was what got me through for 2 or 3 more months. Wow. And that's how, and it was tough. I remember my house was $90 a month. I was having a tough time making the rent, but I didn't want to go back.
$90 a month, and this was only 4 years ago.
Yeah.
That you were going through
Actually, it was 3 days ago.
It was 3 days ago. Dude, $90 a month now couldn't get you anything in Vancouver.
Nothing.
It gets you a punch in the head is what $90 a
It
month
was.
gets you.
You got it, George. It was tough. It was really tough.
There's this idea, though, that one is entitled to grow their market share, and it's almost unfettered. Can that continue? Because that's what it is.
I think if you stick with it, it can. I think that, I've had the opportunity of meeting a whole bunch of people across the world, from the Russian president down to Warren Buffett. And you hear the same story over and over. I had to stick through the times that I was in, and you had to change. You're constantly changing in our business. I look at what we started out as with a little pizza shop in Penticton, British Columbia in 1968. And I look at what I was doing at that time, and I for almost a year and a half, 2 years, I'm walking around the place, and finally a friend of mine came and he said, "Jim, you got to start smiling. They're customers, not suspects."
You were still a police officer.
I was still a police officer.
Hey, nowadays, the era we live in now, the person who runs the company is the suspect.
That's right.
And we've reached that place too, where there's this pound of flesh idea that we need to see our CEOs suffer in a way.
Yeah, I think that's sad too, because there's some great people out there. We're getting tarred by a few that go sideways or ethically don't want to play the game. I'm talking to Buffett one day. I said to him one day, does the U.S. have to change their whole system after the housing crisis and everything went down? He said, there's nothing wrong with the rules. We don't have to change anything. What we have to do is abide by them. And that's what a lot of businesses didn't do. You look at houses and people coming up to buy a house. I remember people in the U.S. or in Canada saying, well, your income's $90,000, so make it 110, we get you more money.
Right.
We got to stick with the rules. When I bought my first house, it was 40% down.
You can't do that now.
You can't do that now.
Close. I want to play one before we wrap up. The season finale for Dragon's Den is coming up. We had Arlene on the program and asked her a question, and here's how she answered it. Arlene?
So just based on language, we had to change this. Marry, nap with, or punch? Your Dragon Den co-host. Who would you marry, nap with, or punch? Jim, Kevin, Robert, or Bruce?
Oh my goodness, okay. I'd punch Kevin for sure.
Punch Kevin, yeah?
I'd nap with Jim, although whether he would continue napping would be an interesting question. I would probably marry Bruce.
She said she'd rather nap with you. She just wasn't sure you'd continue napping.
What do you think I'd do?
I'm not involved, man. That's your show.
George, I've been married 3 times. Yeah. My wife is watching. And I can't afford to be going 4.
3 times?
I don't care how much money Arlene's got.
Your son's the assistant GM at Phoenix, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Phoenix Coyotes.
Yes.
Playoff position.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Big night tonight.
So tell me the truth. Will they be in Quebec next year?
No.
Really? They're going to be in Phoenix?
Going to be in Phoenix.
Are you buying the team?
They're going to be in Phoenix. They're going to be in Phoenix, George.
They're going to be Phoenix?
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. If you had an opportunity to own part of a franchise in Arizona, is that something you would pursue?
We have some stores in Phoenix. I got 2 Boston Pizzas.
All right. I look forward to having you on our TV program in September to kick off the new season when you're the owner of the Phoenix Coyotes then. How about that?
Well, Dragon's Den's going to be great, starting about the same time, and I will be in Toronto.
Jim Treliving from Dragon's Den, everybody. We'll be right back.